Warning.
Hello, welcome to the Ant-Man channel. Thank you for joining me today on this Thursday, the 29th of January, 2015. I am your host, the Ant-Man. I got an article in front of me from ChristianPost.com. It is under the column US. I've been holding this one since the 26th. It was published by Samuel Smith. He's a CP reporter. And it is titled, 7 Homeschooled Kids in State Custody After Judge Rules Against Christian Parents. Police won't say why children were seized. So the government's kidnapping more children in the name of, tyranny. But anyways, let's get into this. A family friend of the Stanley family holds up a sign calling for their 7 kids to be returned home after they were taken into state custody in January of 2015. I'll post the link, and most likely this is going to be my thumbnail picture. Or the family. It's a very beautiful family, man. It's very sad to see this kind of stuff. 7 homeschool children whose parents claim were unjustly removed from their custody by the state of Arkansas earlier this month on child abuse allegations still remain in the state's custody after a court ruled that there was probable cause to keep the children until after the parents could be judged in a mid-February trial. On January 12th, state and local police officers removed the 7 Stanley children from their parents' home after conducting a 5-hour warranted search in light of alleged child abuse complaints filed by the Stanley's neighbors. Sounds like Christian persecution, and it's funny how you always have snitches as neighbors, huh? They think they're do-gooders and they're doing good for our community, but they're just a bunch of snitches, man. They don't know any better. I've been a victim of this, man. I had a neighbor once call the police on me because I left a ladder outside of my window because I was sneaking in late at night with my girlfriend. This was before I was saved, you guys. I was young. I left the ladder outside my window, and the neighbor called the police thinking that somebody broke into my house. And the police showed up. They broke into my house, and they kicked down my door, and they drew guns on me. And the rookie cop was like, "I was about to shoot you. Like, I always fire a warning shot first, and you're lucky I didn't shoot you." But you always have neighbors that seem to be like do-goody-good, you know what I mean? Dudley do-rights, but you know what I mean? Snitching? Calling the Babylonian police on people is never a good thing. This system's corrupt, and the police are not your friends. They were built for a reason. I respect the police. I believe in a strong government and a police force as a peacemakers, but the way that our police behave today and the way that they just carry out orders and stuff is really it's a problem. It needs to be addressed, but anyways, after the police found a legal but somewhat dangerous substance called Miracle Mineral Solution, what is known to be a remedy for cancer and AIDS, in the home, the police took the 7 children and told the parents that they would be returned after 72 hours, according to their family, their father, Hal Stanley. As over a week has passed with their children not being returned home, and after 2 days of litigation in the family's probable cause hearing, a Garland County judge determined that there is enough probable cause to keep the family's children in custody until at least February 12th, when the Stanley's custody trial is set to take place. If the judge determines that the children cannot remain safely in the home, he has 30 days to set up an adjudication hearing. At that point, both sides will bring all of the evidence that they have, and we will make a further determination on what we will do with the children. Arkansas DHS Public Information Coordinator Kate Luck told KATV, "It is always difficult decision to remove children from the home, and it is not a decision that the department or local law enforcement want to make. Unfortunately, sometimes that has to happen." They have a picture here. The Stanley family is reunited with a brief visitation on Friday, January 23rd, 2015, which was a couple days ago, after their 7 children were taken from the parents' custody after police search found the miracle substance, MMS, in the home. The Garland County Police issued a statement claiming that the children were not removed because of the finding of MMS in the home, but because of a number of different factors, and investigators felt they had no choice but to intervene. However, Hal Stanley has maintained in talking with reporters that the children's removal must be due to the finding of the dangerous substance, MMS, which he claims he used to purify his gardening water. Stanley also told reporters that he can't find out or figure out any other reasons why the Arkansas Department of Health Services would have taken this action. What put the Stanleys on the DHS radar were two child abuse allegations filed against them by their neighbors, their snitch neighbors, or Dudley Do-Rights, that think we're on the cop side, we're on America's side, so we're gonna snitch on people. It's not a good way to be, man. What put the Stanleys on DHS radar? Okay, according to the Christians News Network, in December 2014, a complaint was filed by a neighbor who saw the Stanleys allowing their children to walk outside in the snow with no shoes on their feet. What a bunch of... Some people are that bored and miserable that they just look outside their window curtains and they're just like, mm. You know what I mean? It's so pathetic that there are people out there like that. Play bingo or something. Do something. Besides ruining the lives of other people around you. You're miserable, I get it. Leave other people the hell alone. Sorry for cursing. But it's really annoying, don't you think, that people have nothing better to do than to be meddling and being nosy? It's really annoying. It's what a bunch of, like, you know, weird people there are out there. It's disgusting. When a social services worker visited their home, the mother, Michelle Stanley, told the social worker that the children had plenty of shoes and that the children were just participating in a family tradition of making footprints in the snow. Oh yeah, they should go to jail. They should send them to Guantanamo Bay and torture them for this. A second complaint was filed against the family claiming that there was a poisonous substance in the home, which led to the January 12 police search that ended with the kids being taken. Although it's still unclear that the state thinks was going on in the Stanley's home, the DHS cannot disclose the reason why the children are still being kept in custody. However, Luck said that there are a number of different acceptable reasons why the DHS can legally take custody of a child. Because the elite are a bunch of pedophiles and they love to hurt innocents. They love it. They love to destroy the innocence and the purity of a child. They love it. They get off on it, man. They're just blood-sucking vampire, evil men, man, out there that they love to see this kind of stuff happen. That's why they don't do anything about it, because in reality there are child, prostitution rings. There are these type of things that exist that I don't like talking about because it's just so dark and disgusting that I don't really even like to mention it, but it's a fact. And there are people at the top that don't care about the innocence and purity of a child, and that's why they're given over to the Babylonian Roman imperialist guards to be taken away from their parents because of misunderstandings. Because the thought police think that they know you better than you know you. And they're like, oh, well, they're letting their kids walk out on the snow. They must be very abusive parents. Well, common sense tells me that does not sound like a very harmful thing. It just sounds like a little bit of fun. Some people out there are just absolutely nutty. So let's just get on with this. It could mean that the home is unfit. It could mean that the environment is not a good environment, that there's dirt everywhere. It could also mean the children cannot safely remain there. It may be that the parents have done something to make the environment unsafe. Like I said, ultimately, it is always our goal to reunite families. That's why the end goal is we want to make sure the children are safe and that they are going back to a safe environment. But at the end of the day, we want families together. Amen. We do want families together. We could, I don't know, I'm not even going to go there right now. According to a close friend of the families who's running the Facebook page, Bring the Stanley Kids Home, the parents are allowed visitation with their children and got to visit them on Friday. So while the road ahead is going to be rough, be happy with us for this one brief moment. We got to experience with our children on Fridays, Michelle Stanley wrote in a post on Facebook page. Who uses Facebook still? You want to have the NSA put together a nice little profile on you, I guess. That's cool. Instead of going door to door and asking people, like surveying people about random things, that's what Facebook was made for. So that you voluntarily give your information. I like social media. It's awesome. But Facebook is used against you. It is. So while the road ahead is going to be rough, be happy with us for this one brief moment. Okay. The Stanleys have received a swell of support as over 14,000 people have liked the Bring the Stanley Kids Home Facebook page. The Lord does not have problems, only plans. The Lord does not have problems, only plans. I like that. Michelle Stanley's Facebook post asserts, while the wait may seem like forever, it is time to trust and wait on Him to work out His perfect will. And not only our lives, but everyone who has suffered through this whole ordeal. We know that we are not the only ones who are losing sleep over this. So this is a big issue. I say pray for the people. They're going about this with the right attitude. You can see that the Spirit of God is in them because they have hope in them, even though that the demonic state wants to ruin their family and their lives. It's all good because we got the Lord on our side. And ultimately, God's in control. And who are we to question what God's doing in all of this? You know what I mean? We should have faith that He's working out a good plan for these people in all of this. We share in the sufferings of Christ as well. That's how we grow more intimately with him, to know him better, is through suffering. Because when we get put through trials and tribulation and hardship, God uses that as a way to build character in us and to make us who he wants us to be, bring out the potential he's put in us. God bless you guys.